Hi, this is Ruth Royal from Youth Pledge for Employers, and I'm really pleased to be talking to Georgina Wiley today, who is owner director at Little Shed. Hello, Georgina.
Hi, Ruth.
Lovely to meet you.
You too. Thanks
So
for having me.
oh, absolute pleasure. So tell us first of all a little bit about Little Shed.
So, Little Shed started, well, the forming of it started a few years ago. My niece got married and she bought some items for her wedding, such as a wishing well and all the other pretty bits you get when you get married. And she decided that she wanted to rent those out to other couples that are getting married to save them some money, and to make some money for herself, obviously. And she said, "Do you want to come on board and do sort of the marketing, the computer side of it mainly?" And I said, "Yeah, why not? I like computers. I can build a website. I'm sure I'll give it a go." And since then, we sort of launched in 2020. We've had some weddings, some really quite big weddings, some smaller weddings, but it's been nice to meet different people and give back, because I got married what feels like forever ago, and I had somebody come in and do that for me on my wedding day, and they sorted everything out, and it was a lot less stressful. So we do now what people did for us.
Oh my gosh, that's a brilliant idea, and seeing a sort of gap in the market and then being a part of filling it as well.
Yeah,
What sort of what sort of skills have you needed in terms of kind of setting up a business and running it like that?
patience is a big one. You need to be patient. Things don't happen overnight. I've needed to have computer skills, which luckily I do have. Lauren does not have, which is why we're a perfect team. She's not good with the words, and I am a little bit better at the words. Um, you need to have confidence, because you need to believe in what you're doing. You have to believe in your product, set it up, and sell it like there's nothing better in the world. Organization is key. Um, because obviously you're talking to customers, you're booking stuff in, you're sending out invoices, you've got to keep your books up to date. There's a lot of stuff that isn't just going to a wedding and setting it up. It's all the bits behind the scenes as well that do take up a lot of time, that I probably didn't realize how much time it took before we set the business up.
That is so interesting. So actually all that kind of back piece of work in terms of getting customers in the first place through marketing and
Yeah,
advertising, and then from when you get them on board, the organizing and the planning, like right to what I would think of almost like offboarding, like getting them, the invoices and everything done.
yeah.
That's huge. Would you say there's a split of how much do you spend much more time doing the behind the scenes stuff than the actual stuff on the day?
Probably yes, actually, because it's the talking to the customer. You've got to have excellent communication skills, because you've got to, one, sell what you're trying to sell, but also deliver on what they want. And so it's the communication between you and the customer, it's the banking, it's the books, and all of that stuff takes up a huge amount of time. Whereas when I go to a venue, I put the stuff in my car, deliver it, and put it out. And that bit's dead easy. It's everything that comes before it that actually takes up the time and is a lot harder. Is a lot harder.
So do you think that you sort of mentioned about having good computer skills? Are there any sort of packages or computer knowledge that are useful to have in what you do?
Definitely Excel has been a lifesaver. I do all my books on Excel. So I know what money's coming in, what money's going out, and I use the formulas to auto generate that. So all I do is put digits in, and then it does it all for me. It is very easy to do. And I also used a company called Squarespace to build my website. So it's very similar to the other sort of ones you can do, but my friend recommended it as an easy one to use. So just general computer knowledge. Again, patience with that, because when I built my website, things would move from one bit to the other bit, and the writing would disappear. Then I'd delete the whole web page, and it was testing. Put it that way. It was very testing to build my website, but I did it, and once I'd done it, it was fantastic. I felt a real sense of achievement of having done that.
Do you
You
think
are
there's
on
some?
mute. Oh,
I
sorry, Ruth.
was just going to say, do you think there's something there that actually around sort of owning your own business that you do sort of have to have that sense of that you will just give something a go?
Definitely, because if you don't try it, you've then got to get someone else to do it, and they're going to want money to do it. So, yeah, I could have got somebody to build a website, but that would have cost me I think the guy that I spoke, because we did speak about it, they wanted a certain amount to build it and then a monthly payment to do the upkeep on the website, which
Wow.
is, when you're starting out, you don't have 500
Yeah.
quid just to throw away. So yeah, you have to just give things a go and just see if it works and gain skills from other people as well. I use my husband a lot when I was doing these sorts of things because he's very good with computers. So use the skills you've got around you as well.
I think that's really useful advice, sort of tapping into people that you know.
Yes,
And
you have to.
do you think as well that sort of the fact that you're involved with helping people organise their weddings is also sort of like an exciting feature of what you do? Because I think that sounds rather lovely.
It is. I absolutely adore talking to people when they are planning their weddings. They're all very excited, they've finally got their big day that they've been waiting for, and it's just a nice thing to do to help somebody set up their wedding. And I get emotional. So I don't even know these people, but I get quite emotional when I go and set up the wedding, and they're very thankful for what you do, and it's just a sense of achievement. It's not just me doing a job, it's me doing something I love, meeting new people and sharing that day, not directly. Sometimes I do go to the weddings if I'm doing like the photo booth hire. I have to be there to hand out props and such like, and they treat you like you're part of the party. And I really do love it. It is a very nice thing to do.
Oh, that just sounds brilliant. And I just think, like you said, it must be really nice being part of people's days in that way. Do
Yeah.
you think that you also need to be able to, you've said about communication skills, but it strikes me that you've probably got to do quite a lot of different communication with quite a lot of different audiences. Do you think that's true?
Yes, definitely. Everybody is different. They want different things. They have different backgrounds. Some speak better English than other people, and it's a very wide variety of people that want your service. People that have got thousands to spend and people that haven't, and that's why we've made it so our business can support those people that don't have lots and lots and lots of money, because we still want them to have a lovely day too. And that was important for us right at the beginning, because we're not made of money. I've forgotten what question you asked me, Ruth.
No, I think that's really, I really like that aspect of being able to sort of like being able to support all different sorts of people. I was just thinking in terms of communication, I guess as well, you
Yeah.
also have to deal with suppliers. Do you have stuff as well, when you get stuff on board if you're buying new products?
To be honest with you, a lot of the products we tend to make.
Wow,
Not
so there's a creative side as well to what you're doing.
Yes, Lauren is the creative. She does that
Brilliant.
side. I put my 2 pence in as well, but Lauren Lauren is that creative person, whereas I'm not so creative. I'm not, get me to do a flower arrangement, it's going to look terrible. But Lauren would make it look really, really lovely. So we sort of gel together in that way. But for the communication, you have got some suppliers. To be fair, we deal sort of online businesses most of the time, so
Yeah,
email communication can be quite important with those, and if you have a
yeah,
problem with it, you have to call them, etc. But most of my communication is with my customers. A lot of it is by email or Facebook Messenger. They love a
right.
Facebook message.
Oh, fantastic.
We started off on Facebook. You see, we didn't have a website to begin with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so all of our business came through Facebook to begin with. And now we've got the website, and people send through the inquiry forms on there. They come straight to the email, and then we just email back and forth. It's not very often I have to call the customer, which is very strange, but I think people like to do things by email. They've
I think
got it
that's
written
very good.
down. I did have an older gentleman, and his wife to be. They got married in May, and he did everything by phone. So I think it depends on the generation a lot of the time as well, whether they want to do it via text, email, telephone. He preferred telephone. It was quite personable as well that way. It wasn't just someone behind a computer screen.
And I'm sure it's sort of you have to match that communication to what your customer wants and needs, in that way. What
Yeah.
do you think? What do you think is kind of like one of the key skills that you have that kind of makes you good at your job?
Organisation. I have to be organised. I have to get the invoices out on time. If I don't get the invoices out on time, I don't get paid. That's quite important. I do want my money. So yeah, I would say the organisation and the communication. The communication is so important, because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have customers.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sure that's the case. What and just sort of to end with, really, if you were to go back and sort of have a conversation with your younger self leaving school or college about careers, what piece of advice would you give yourself, do you think?
Do what you're going to enjoy. Do what you're going to love. Do a bit of research into things. Maybe do some work experience in different sectors. I went straight to college and did childcare, and I have not used it since. And I feel like it was a waste of 2 years of my life, where I could have been doing business or something like that that would have been more beneficial. So try different things, reach for the stars. Don't think, oh, I'm not going to do that because I won't be able to, because if you put your mind to it, you will be able to.
That's a fantastic note to end on. Georgina, thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.